Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Mary and I make videos mostly surrounding art-related activities. A lot of my videos involve what I do for a living, which is teach ceramics at a nonprofit here in California. And so I like to make videos on different demonstrations, techniques, things involving ceramics, different experiments I'm trying in the studio, that sort of thing. But I also like to make videos about projects that are going on at home. So this video is going to be one of them. It's going to take place over the course of about, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. It was a long project. So my husband and I live in a ranch style house that has 3 bedrooms, and every single room in the house has a texture on the wall. Some rooms were done a little later than others by different contractors, so they don't have as obvious of a texture as what we had in the kitchen. But my objective for skim coating our kitchen was to completely do away with this really unsightly texture that had the appearance of almost like stucco. So this video is going to just go through the entire process. This isn't meant to be like any type of instructional video for others, because I'm sure I did a ton of things wrong. I was just kind of taking a stab at a home improvement project because I like to do those sort of things. Take what I'm doing very lightly. I mostly just wanted to make this video to show what it was like for just like an average person at home, saving some money and not hiring someone to smooth out their walls, but instead trying it on their own. So without further ado, let's start the video. So I'll show you what the walls looked like before I started skim coating. It's like this really kind of chunky texture, and as you can see, it's like not perfect. Like there's some parts that are like kind of smooth. It's like really inconsistent. It's probably just where like the previous owner had patched up areas. And over here is where I was like testing different colors of paint. But yeah, I'll show you the part that I finished. So this section is like our little laundry area of the kitchen. And these walls are finished, and so they're completely skim coated and sanded, and then I put the primer and the paint on. And also up here, like above our laundry area, and then down the side here, and then it just kind of like wraps around over here. And this stuff was like pretty labor intensive because, let me see if I can zoom in at the top there. That area up there is just so small that I really had to get up and like make my own tools. I had to cut a couple cards to smooth out the joint compound, and then like over here by the cabinets was kind of tricky just because it's like such a tight little area. I tried to start with like the more kind of annoying parts of the kitchen to get done first, and then I'm leaving like the bigger parts to do now. So I figured, while my motivation was up, I would just do the parts that were not super enjoyable. But yeah, so I'm gonna get started with that and we'll see how far I get. Okay, I think I've come to a good stopping point. I need to clean this stuff up before Josie wakes up. But I put the first coat of joint compound on, and then I'm gonna let that dry for about 24 hours and go over it with some fine sandpaper. And then just kind of patch up areas that aren't quite as even and do a second coat. When I initially started doing this on the other section, I'd watched a few videos that said to water it down, and so I did that and I mixed it, and it was a lot harder to apply, and now I know just the right consistency. It's very similar to putting like frosting on a cake and like smoothing it out with a spatula. And so I like to apply it with a really thick consistency, especially on the type of walls that I have, because then any parts that where the texture kind of has like a peak and a valley, if I apply the joint compound on in like a thick kind of pasty texture, then I can just fill in those areas and smooth them a lot easier than it being like too watery. So I'll just show you what I've got so far. Here, this is definitely more smooth than these parts. You're left with a lot of these ridges just from the mud knife. And I started with a very large one and then moved to a smaller because it was a lot easier for me to control. But when I'm sanding, it's actually better to have these parts where it peaks up with the joint compound because they're much easier to sand down than like these little areas that kind of like dip in, because as you're sanding then you never quite get that even texture that you would if you were just sanding like something that was a little bit thicker. Like I said, I might have to go over some areas. You know, I'm not really concerned about it being perfect. I just want to make sure that the overall appearance of it will be flat.
Mommy, bing ball. Mommy, bing ball.
So the part of the skim coating that I'm doing right now is actually on the windowsill, because for some reason this one windowsill is the only one in the house that has the speckled chunkiness of the walls. So, and it has always driven me crazy, so it feels really good to be smoothing it out. This is actually really therapeutic. Oh, and also I'm using my old Costco membership card because I don't have a spatula that's small enough to fit in that area, and this actually works really well. You can get a lot of pressure on it since it's just made of plastic. spending day 2 sanding, and as you can see, I'm fully protected. I've got an N95 mask on with this homemade mask, and earplugs, headband to hold in the earplugs, eye protection. I would be wearing goggles, but I could not see out of my glasses and goggles. So it is a dusty mess in here, but I feel pretty good about the progress I'm making. I've already... Here's Jojo! Jojo's very excited, as always. So I'm just kind of... This is going to be a crazy video because I look so nuts. Let me go outside for a minute. Okay, so I look a little less crazy. Not completely sane, but so I'm just doing the kitchen like section by section. And I finished the section closest to the door. And now I've completely finished sanding the main portion of our kitchen. And then the hallway I'll have to skim coat and sand, prime, and paint. You know, the same process. Okay, so we've got the entire kitchen done painted. We've got the entire kitchen painted, and I just need to go around and do the trim around the windows and the doorways. But I'm feeling really excited because it's just been taking forever to get this done. But along with the trim, we have this door back here that goes in between our living room and kitchen. And so we're working outside today. It's pretty hot. It's going to be like in the 90s. So we've got some shade. And I've got my helper there. And we're going to start out by taping off the windows and then applying the paint.
It is mine. You want some more tape? Here you go. There's some more tape. I'm okay. I was yes. That's
Okay.